So yeah, as I've told you in the last battle report, I wanted to try out a couple of games with different versions of the list, with the Prophet of Shamut and the Great Bull of Shamut, and then 2 big units of Anointed. That was a little bit the idea. And here's a new version of the list. I wanted to try out the Tauric Commissioner. Of course, when you play a lot of Anointed, you want to try out the Commissioner because he gives you Stubborn when he's within the unit. So of course that's a very valid option when you try to play with Anointed. I think that's something you need to consider because Stubborn can be very, very good in some matches. So here I decided to upgrade my BSB into a Commissioner. The idea behind the build was I saw how many points I had left and I wanted to make something where I can go out alone and stick a unit if needed. That's why I wanted to have 5 attacks. Only strength 5 in this build, and then I put a potion of strength. The idea behind this was if I need to face a character, you never want to face a crush attack. So quite resilient, 3 up, 4 up, and then potion of strength, which is not bad for 430 points. So I was quite happy with the build, and that was okay with the points I had left. And then for the magic, I decided to go with Wizard Adept, Witchcraft, and Master Occultism. The idea behind this was the last game I had another Adept Alchemy, and I didn't cast one time the Alchemy spell. So I decided to try out without Alchemy to see how it goes. The core was more or less the same. No, last game, yeah, I wanted to have an additional possible combat threat. Because I remarked with only Infernal Warrior that was maybe not enough, so I decreased a little bit the amount of guys in the Infernal Warrior unit, and I put some Seated Guard with Flintlock. I like the idea of having a bit of shooting, and at the same time having a decent combat unit. I kept 1 unit of Slaves, 2 units of Anointed. I dropped 1 model to not have a too big footprint when I have the Commissioner within the unit. If you remember, a couple of games ago, I played a tournament, and I had a big unit of Anointed with a BSB, and that was a huge footprint. Never want to play with a unit this big again. Unit of Vassal Cavalries, and then to complete the list I decided to try out the Rock Crusher. I like the ability for him to block things, so I thought why not try the Rock Crusher. Is a bit less expensive as Academy Titan, could be a decent option. My opponent was playing more or less that's what I was able to write down during the game. An Adept Shamanism on Eagle, an Adept Divination, which was a Dryad character, a Forest Prince with Titanic Might, obviously, and then I don't remember all the item, but I found this quite decent. 1 up, 5 up ward save, not stompable, and then impact hit save, always AP 0 against him. Was really decent. I didn't remark this build straight away. It's always like that when you do some practice game on UB, you figure out stuff then during the game. 24 Dryad with a champion, 30 Forest Guard with Spears, 10 Aether Hunter, 10 Briar Maiden wins the champion. So actually he has 3 Adepts with a lot of spells, which is not bad at all. 2 times the Blade Dancer. I think I never faced them, so I was pretty happy to see what they can do on the table. 2 small units of Pathfinders, and he kept 3 Caster Art, which are always great because they have high mobility and they can fly, so always a huge threat to consider during deployment. Yeah, this was my spell selection. Decided to take Mark of Doom to threat a little bit the Eagle King guy. Of course, Breast Toxic, Pentagram to threaten all the low toughness unit, a ward save spell, and then for Witchcraft, not Alchemy, I took Raven's Wing and CC debuff, I guess, yeah. And my opponent, with all 3 of his caster, he took Fate Judgment, reroll to hit, and Divine Attack. He had the Insect, so 2 very dangerous spell, I guess, for my Bull of Shamut, because don't like having cast against you Insect, and of course Fate Judgment is the worst. Break the Spirit, Hereditary spell 1 time, and then +1 Strength and Resilience, so really good. The setup for this game was a frontline clash with a breakthrough as a secondary objective. So he has some unit with high mobility, of course, 2 light cavalry, the 3 Castle Knight, which are quite annoying because I think in most of the ID list you are not so good against single model that can be very, very fast. Or, I mean, it's not that you are not so good, but it forces you into a kind of deployment and setup where you will need to block the space, and this allows you less to cover properly the whole board. I would say like that, more or less. Because it's more like if you need to cover all your flanks, then maybe you need to be more compact in the deployment, and therefore you will not be able to use the whole board. I guess that's more or less the way I see things with most of my ID list. I know it should be good in this matchup, of course. I think against most of the combat unit. Did I write down actually? Because he had some rangers too. I think I didn't write out. He had like 2 units of 10 rangers in addition to that. So yeah, a lot of threats. You will see the map is like split in 2, so that could be the idea for my opponent to play on the other part of the board, because basically he has some light cav, he can drop that in the first drops. I don't have a lot of drops, that's a weakness of my list, of course. Again, as an ID list where you have some blocks, some medium-sized unit, basically don't have that much drops, and then at some point you are forced to show what you are going to do at the deployment. And as I've told you, I need to be careful a little bit with my bull not to get magic to death. So this is deployment. Basically what happened, we exchanged a few drops. I tried to wait as long as I could. So I put like pretty early on Kestrels, Blade Dancer, some light cav, and then yeah, I dropped basically everything more or less. So I think I started like Orc Slaves, these guys, Flintlock, and then I had to put the first unit of Anointed. I knew that I wanted my BSB in the center, so I put BSB and then the block on the left, and I finished deployment with like plus, I think at +5, things like that. So I was like auto starting, I guess. And I finished with the tank to block. I thought, yeah, with the tank I can block him coming around. I can go toward the middle of the map over the right side. And then the bull always like to play with some cover going around the impassable. I think that's always a nice spot. And on purpose, I decided to let free the right part of the board. My idea was, of course, he has some scouts, he can come here, but then I would be really happy to cast spell with the bull to be behind in the map and cast spell at him. He has no BSB, that's something quite important. He's far away from his line, so I think I should be able to clear them up quite quickly. So I was quite happy with that. And I put the BSB here in the middle. My opponent, Vanguard, these guys behind the impassable, of course, as flyers, they like to be in the impassable. He put Briar Maiden here, a Blade Dancer, Prince within a unit of 12 I guess, Rangers. Dryad block with the character, Light Cav, another block of Rangers, and the Spear on the left. So that was... So since I dropped everything, I was able to start the game, at least. That was something positive. So, yeah, I forgot to mention, my opponent also had he mentioned to me, yeah, of course, he should be able in a tournament to put everything in this part of the board and make for me very difficult to come around, because something I struggled with as an ID, I have only March 12 with these guys. Here I have Relentless Banner, but of course, I will never be able probably to catch him, and then he can just play around impassable, and we will cast Magic Missile and throw some shots at each other. So I think I would struggle to stop him. Nevertheless, that would have been interesting as a configuration to see what I can do against such an approach. So I would have been curious to see what, if he does like that, how I'm able to turn these guys around to look here, march them here, relentless these guys here, to see what I can do to go around impassable, put my bull behind, try to threat him from behind impassable. That would have been interesting as well. But here I decided to play, as a front line clash, so to say, to be in front to see how it goes, to really stop me for going for the objective. So it will be interesting to see what he can do in combat. So yeah, basically I moved forward more or less with everybody, and I decided, should I turn around the tank to look in this direction to block the Kestrel from going behind? And then I thought, you know what, let's try out with the Vassal Cav. I have like 15 attacks on the charge, pretty decent. I have some magic to help the guys. If he comes here, I can charge them, move back with BSB. I have BSB plus him, should be able to stick him in place and then counter charge with like BSB or things like that. I wanted to try out how it goes to see a little bit, and then this allows the tank to tread forward, because basically if I look back with the tank, it can just fly here, everybody move forward, and yeah, this will be annoying. I put the bull within 18 to cast, of course, the breast weapon, within 24 of them for Pentagram of Pain, and that was it. In the magic phase, I cast a pentagram at them, just kill one. I failed the ward save on myself, and then I was able to get the breast weapon with 4 dice against 5, which is quite lucky. I was able to kill 4 of these guys, so not bad. 5 of them are dead in turn 1. His turn. He flies over with them, so this will be interesting. The remaining guys somewhere in the ring. The 4 remaining guys move forward, they move on the side. These guys move a bit forward, the rest remains pretty static. He took the wall with Dryad and tried to move forward with the Blade Dancer. Basically to bait me to come in the forest. He's very resilient in the forest. I guess he's stubborn. He has the dance 3-up ward save, so pretty decent. And his idea is, if I charge over and he has a counter charge with the Prince and Ranger, so I don't want to face them in my flank. In the magic, he put the Swarm of Insect with a high roll against my general, causes 2 wounds, which is pretty bad, but I wasn't able to dispel that. And then, basically with the rest, I didn't want him to cast Break the Spirit against my guy. That's why I kept my dice. I decided, yeah, I can take that, because I don't want Break the Spirit against them, because my plan would be fucked up. And that was the only debuff buff that he can put here. Then he put like reroll 2 hits and tried +1 strength, and I dispelled that. With the shooting, he did 1 wound against my tank with the Pathfinders. And then this is already my turn 2, so we'll see what I will do. I charge with my vassal, take the BSB out to do what I've told you before. I decided to go with the orcs, basically to force him to chase me or do things like that. I move this guy forward, being careful that I'm in his front, so if he needs to chase, he will contact them. If he doesn't chase, then he's here, and I can always do something about them later. We'll see how it goes, but I didn't want to send these guys here and be blocked in the forest, take some DTs. I didn't want that, so I decided why not send the slave in and see what happens. I didn't know exactly how to deal with them, since I didn't know exactly what they can do in combat and so on. I thought I have some paired weapons, battle focus. Maybe I can kill some of them, and then we'll see. Either I can stick, or depends if you can kill 10 of me. I thought I can maybe kill and then be steadfast. We'll see. Here to the right, I moved this guy forward. I have a very nice Pentagram of Pain, 12 inch. Here with the area, these guys and them, so, and plus the little guy alone. So I thought 4 units is really nice, just hitting my tank on the way, not too scary. Here I took the charge on the 11 on 2 dice, forcing him to do terror check. I really like the odds of him maybe failing with no reroll. He passed it, and I failed my charge, unfortunately, but I think that was worth it to take it. In magic, what did I do? I tried breast weapon, rolled double 1, so failed. Then I tried to put -2 weapon skill on them to help my little guy in combat, but my opponent dispelled it, and then I was able to get my pentagram area, so to heal 1 wound on this guy, kill the little guy alone, kill like 3 of them, they fled, kill like 3 of these guys, but unfortunately for me, I was not able to do any wound to them. I considered the fact to do either -2 weapon skill to help me hit better and to cause him problem to hit me, or pentagram to kill like 1 model would have been really, really nice. But unfortunately not. Close combat, he kills 12 of me, I kill 2 of him, so not enough. I'm forced to flee. I didn't pass the restraint check and is forced to contact my anointed, so pretty happy about that. And here I was able to cause, to my surprise, 3 wounds to him. He did only 2 to me, which is pretty low. So I was able to win combat by 2, but good he was able to stick, because I would have felt bad if he had to flee on discharge. My plan was only to stick him in place, and here I won combat by 2, which was a surprise to me. So yeah, pretty happy. And let's go to his turn 2. So here we're in combat. here my orc is still fleeing, here is still in combat, so basically he pushed forward. He thought, yeah, here I'm here, let's move into the forest, and let's move here a bit forward to threat me. I like the odds of me breaking these guys and then be able to charge where I want. These guys are also free to charge maybe, so I have some nice options. Here with the Briar Maiden is able to move around. The remaining Pathfinder fled off the board, so I've dealt with the 10 Pathfinders, which is already something good. So I move around to shoot at my bull, of course. Yeah, I'm not too concerned because don't forget I have a Flaming Divine Strength 4 AP1 breast weapon, which can do like tons of wounds. If I rolled good on the number of hits, I can just deal with this unit in one go, if I'm a bit lucky. So yeah, I can really do some damage against them, so I'm not so too concerned about them going around my lines. He moves a bit to the side with the Blade Dancer to be out of my arcs, and put the Ingle King here to cast Insect against them. In the magic, he tried the Swarm of Insect against me, I dispelled it. He tried a Aura reroll to hit to help these two units, but failed, luckily for me. He tried to put +1 strength on the Dryad, I guess. I dispelled it. With shooting, I did 3 saves to the bull, so quite lucky for me. 1 with the tank, so yeah, a good round of saves. In close combat, I lost by 2 this time. I was able to stick on a 7 rerollable, which is nice because now I can countercharge. Here I was able to kill 4 of him. He did nothing to me, so he failed his check, and I'm able to pursue and contact this unit, which was really nice for me, because here if I'm able to make them flee, first of all there is the Prince, then I have another run in these guys. If everything goes well, that could be more or less a huge step to the victory for me. So yeah, that's it for his turn 2, and now let's move on to my turn 3. So yeah, I had a 11 rerollable onto this unit, and I thought let's try it because I was able to chaff him. So I thought let's try it, but I don't think that was the best option for me to take, because now he can just clean my chaff and I'm not able to punish that heavily with the Troika Anointed because they look the other way around. So he's able to clean the chaff and then just reform out of the arc of these guys, which is not so excellent. And the rest, I had to move the bull back to be able to threat the Dryad charging my guy. I counter-charge with the BSB, and I move forward with the tank, ignoring more or less the remaining unit. I wanted to cause a threat here, basically, depending what he does. I wanted really to threat him. If he's able to stick because of the Prince, I want to force him to chaff me, and so on. And here, fail charge. Here I move a bit forward, but still out of range of the blocks. Yeah, in Magic, I'm able to put -2 weapon skill and agility on the rangers, which is huge because my Troika Anointed will go first, so I'm pretty sure to beat them heavily in combat. I'm trying the breast weapon on him, failed. That was also the idea of the move of the bull, to be able to be within 12 to boost the guy. I tried to put the ward save on them, but dispelled by my opponent. With shooting, I'm able to kill 3 of the rangers. Close combat, I win by a lot. I kill every rangers, so he's in auto break. Unfortunately for me, he fails the panic check with them, so fled, like here, and he was able to escape with the Prince. I decided to chase, which was, in my opinion, not the best option, because I could have just reformed, looked that way to punish the Dryad if they decide to go for my chaff, which would have been much, much better. But I decided to keep my role and just pursue in direction of the Prince. I think that was not the best option. Of course, what I should have done as well was make sure that he has at least 1-2 rangers left to make the rally check much harder for him. But I didn't do that. Yeah, he's turn 3. Let's move on. He rallies his Prince. Charge with Blade Dancer in my flank. I was surprised by that. I thought, yeah, should be fine. He's only wounding on 6 up. It charges my chaff, and here I killed the Kestrel, but I don't know why I didn't turn around to threat the Dryad with my BSB, which was stupid. I wanted to cover a bit the angle with the BSB because of them, but to be honest, we don't give a fuck what they do. It's much more important to be able to threat with the BSB against this unit, so I don't know why I did that. Yeah, in the Magic phase, my opponent was able to try break the spirit against them, but failed, and then he tried an hereditary for these guys with 5 dice against my 5 dice. I was able to dispel it. Shooting, was able to do 1 wound to the bull, and close combat he was able to do 4 wounds to my tank. Oh, crazy. I was able to do 4 in return. I was losing, I have only 1 wound left, so my tank is pretty much dead. Here this guy died. He reformed to tread the flank of them and be strong against the unit that can come and do a breakthrough. So yeah, he is feeling fine with the prince alone against them. I'm not able to go out of arc, so pretty annoying for me, and he was able to rally these guys. Turn 4, I charged the prince. I decided to try. Let's see what happens. I was not completely aware of his build with the guy. I wanted to try out. I took the charge in the back with the bull. I wanted to try out. It was a 9 swift ride. I thought I should be able to do a lot of wounds. He has a steadfast on the 8 with no reroll, and then I can reform and come around to support. So I thought the bull might be fine, and basically it was also a move to correct the mistakes of my bad decision with the anointed, because I didn't reform rather than charge. I had to send the bull in, because if not I would be in trouble. I would need to find a solution to chaff them or do something else. So I just thought that might be a good option to send the bull in to stick him in place, and let's hope the bull does not die with this strange plan. Also, the idea behind moving the BSB here was to give a reroll to these guys, but basically the problem, I tried to see the position with the bull. If I come here, I'm still too far to boost these guys for the combat. So I also think to charge with these guys was maybe not the best idea, since I don't do much on the impact. Would have been better to force him to charge me. And here of course I have only 1 wound left, so let's see what happens against 3 Blade Dancer. But I was pretty surprised by this combat. What happened is I'm trying to put a Pentagram of Pain to heal me and put it on the Ranger, but my opponent dispelled it. Then I'm able to get Ward Safe Orb and Breast Weapon, which is nice because now I have 2 Breast Weapon. I should be definitely not so bad for this combat. Close combat here, he did 4 to me, I did nothing to him. I'm passing the 9 rerollable steadfast, and here I did like a ton of wounds. He refused the challenge, obviously. I did a ton of wounds against this unit, and he was able to pass the 8, but he failed to reform. His turn 4. As you can see, I killed a lot. I only used the Toxic Breath, I guess. I didn't use the other breath, because you can only use 1, if I'm not mistaken. But I killed a ton of them with Thunderstorms, 7 attacks, plus the Toxic Breath. That was huge. He countercharge. Of course, he killed my tank, yeah. He countercharged with 3 Blade Dancer on the 8, was able to get to me. And he marched forward to threat me. Moved the Eagle King to threat me. Here he moved a bit back. +1 strength on the Dryad, he was able to get it, and then with 4 dice against 5s, he was able to get reroll to it, Divine Attack. That was something, a nightmare for me. I don't want to get reroll to hit Divine, because I have only 3 wounds left. This will be a very hard combat. Even at the moment I'm in the back, so I'm not so bad. It's only 8 or 10 attacks against me. But next turn, yeah, he will be able to reform. I'm a bit scared. It's my general, and he's worth a lot of points. What's happened in combat? I'm able to put maximum attack to kill these 3 guys. I do nothing against him, but I'm able to stick. We do a draw, I guess. I'm able to refuse him to get the charge flank and so on. So I'm able to stick. And here he did 1 wound to me, and he's able to pass another 8 steadfast with no reroll. So and now it was minimized, so that was easier for him to pass, but still was able to pass steadfast and turn around. So my turn 5, I countercharge with the PSB. He reformed in a smart way, because he put the Dryad here, just here, and a bit below my base from this guy, and he was able to make my BSB only hitting the hero, which was smart from him, I thought. Here I have yet only 2 guys left. They are pretty much dead, because it's like 5 attacks, 2+2+, so it's nightmare. And here I move forward with everybody to secure the breakthrough in the coming turn. I move back with the chaff. In the magic, I'm getting a pentagram of pain, trying to heal one wound, but he dispels it, and I'm able to get ward save 4 up, breast weapon on the BSB. BSB, strike, breast weapon, everything. I kill 2, I guess. He can strike at the bull, and he kills my bull, unfortunately for me. BSB is able to make him flee. I kill the hero, I pursue, I get him. So at least that's that. But my expensive general is dead, and these guys are dead as well. Yeah, I think if he does an all-in and he kills my guys straight away. He's turn 5, he moves around me to threaten me. If I go for the breakthrough, he should be able to countercharge with like the prince, and these guys come around to shoot at me. Nothing special in magic, I guess. And then my turn 6, I'm able to use the Relentless Banner, put these guys just to the side to make sure that if he charges me, he's not... Basically, these guys can only contact him, and he's not able to combo charge with these 2 units, this guy. And he's in the front of this guy with them. That was the idea. There was maybe a possibility, I'm not sure, of not using these guys. I was not sure. I wanted to finish quick. And he put to break the spirit against them. They just turn around, move away from his main threat, which was the prince. And the BSB comes with them. And yeah, that was it, more or less. So basically, when we added up the points, it was just a 12-8 for him, and since I got breakthrough, I'm able to win 11-9. So pretty close, this game. What happened? Basically, I think my deployment was not optimal. I would have been better maybe with an anointed unit on the far left, but I feared he could counter-deploy everything on the right, and I thought if my anointed are in the middle, I may be more able to come back in the game. Of course, he has always the potential to refuse the game because I'm outdropped, so to say. In the micro, I think the 5 anointed, I don't think charge the Dryad was a good idea because I just saw in the picture that the ranger on top, I think they could charge in the flank, so I think that was not the best idea, but to chaff and just reform my 5 anointed to be ready to counter charge Dryad, because then I could easily charge them with the 5 anointed and then try the bull or just move the bull to be ready to buff. I think Prince unit, I made some mistakes. I should have reformed rather than pursuing to be able to countercharge Dryad, and also better allocate my attacks to make sure that he has 1 or 2 guys left. That would have been better. I was a bit overconfident with Rock Crusher, I guess, to just ignore these guys on the right. I'm not sure that was the right play for him. Rock Crusher, in my opinion, is maybe sometime much better either in blocking, just moving and blocking and zoning stuff, or moving in the center and moving forward, trying to make the opponent charge you. So I think that was not the best use of the Rock Crusher in this game. Pretty happy with always pretty happy playing this list. I think this game, since I was forced to use my Great Bull to block the unit, I was not able to get the good boost on the Anointed. So yeah, that was a bit problematic, and I think that was not the optimal magical setup to put the Anointed the best condition. I really missed the +2 armor save in this game for the Anointed, which would have been really interesting for some combat. So I think I missed the alchemy in this game, and then at the point where I needed to use my guy as chaff, basically I was feeling a bit low in magic, and then I lost the Great Bull, so I had no magic at all left. So yeah, that was it for this practice game. Thanks Wesser for the game, always a pleasure, and talk to you soon on my channel. Bye guys.